Ever amaze you? One of the most amazing things in the Bible is how they took Jericho. They took it with silence. And nowhere in history or nowhere in the Bible do you find this kind of strategy to conquer this massive, seemingly impregnable city, walls. I've been there to Jericho. The walls were massive. You could have chariot races on them. And God said, I don't want you to say a word. I want you to march around it 6 days, and then on the 7th day you can march around it and shout. And I'm reading that, and I said, God, why is that? It's like God whispered to me, if they would have spoke, they would have spoken the language of the wilderness. See, every one of you have a cultural background. This shaped your mind. This shaped your heart. This shaped what you said and say. Culture is your family. It's the community. It's your education. It's who you listen to. You want to know your destiny? How many here want to know your destiny? How many want to know your future? I'm going to be a fortune teller right now. Now to tell you your future, take a photograph of your friends. Every parent ought to learn that lesson. Because your friend, who you listen to, is going to dictate where you go. And I said, God, this is so strange. And God said, that's why I couldn't allow them to speak. Because of their culture, they would have spoke what they've been saturated with, no doubt, for 40 years. Job did not sin with his lips. What about you? What about you? What comes out of your mouth when you're hurting? When it doesn't seem fair. I mean, Job could have, it doesn't seem fair. You read about it. And he said it just don't seem right. And even by what God said, there's none like him in all the earth. What do you say to your wife, your children? What do you say about God, your church, other people? Do you blame and complain and find fault? There's a proverb, don't criticize, create. Find a solution. You know, one of the easiest things and one of the most deadly things of any church is to embrace a critical, complaining, fault-finding spirit. That means if Jesus led song service, there'd be something wrong with it. Job, he didn't blame God, because when you blame, you become bitter. His wife, those of his own house, she came, chapter 2, verse 9. Why don't you still maintain your integrity? Why don't you just curse God and die? What an encouraging. Wife, you never do that to your husband, do you? Huh? Job's friends. And again I say, why is it when tragedy happens, it's like we have to find someone to blame? This is the sue crazy generation. They want to sue for everything. Drives you crazy. In June of 1983, I preached a sermon. It's out of Psalms 126. I dug out this old sermon. My eyes were much better then.